Boom! Hello and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast Season 5. Never forget that to the best of us, protection's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. Enjoy. Boom! What's up, you guys? Here we are for another episode of the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. I've got Raul Peralta with me here today. He's the man behind the EP Detail, the Vactive brand, and he's an extremely active executive protection agent, team lead, all that stuff, detail leader, project manager, all that stuff. So it's an honor to have you on the show, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, bro. Thanks for having me. Like we just talked about, finally getting it done.
Yes.
I know that's a constant, battle trying to figure out our schedules and line it up. So Just happy to be here and honored, man. Thank you so much.
No, 100%, dude. You're doing some good things, like we say in the Bahamas, doing some good things, man, in the game. Me and Raul, and we'll get into this, man. If you're listening to this, we're going to talk about the game. You're going to hear a lot about experience. We're going to talk about his brands, EP Detail, Vactive. If you haven't found them yet, go find them. They're super dope. Probably my favorite page in the EP industry, other than my own work, is EP Detail page. And I'm going to show you guys some of it, man. That content pulls at my heartstrings, man. Like every time I see it, it's so good. It's so real. You know what I mean? Only someone in the game can make content like that. I love it, man. So
100%, man. Yeah, I mean that's the whole goal behind that. It was funny because I was talking to one of the guys that I work with, and he was telling me like, "Hey, bro, how did you come up with this stuff? Like, why did you decide to start posting that?" And I was like, "Bro, honestly, man, it was one of those days we've all had where you're just chilling in your car. Yep. You're on an international thing. It's raining. You're like, are there other people out there that actually do this? Yep. you got to remember, there's other people, other professionals out there doing the same exact thing. And I was just like, we need to share this stuff. And
100%.
Just, everything's so serious in our industry, because it's a serious industry, obviously. But just every now and then, you got to keep your mind in the game and just laugh at the things that you can't control,
because there's a lot in our game you can't control. Even though it's about kind of controlling, it's also about flowing, man. And I couldn't agree with 100%. It's that stuff like you're sitting outside your client's house on Christmas Day, waiting to see if they're going to bring you a plate. Yeah, I mean, and they come and they give you like some donuts, and you're like, "Is this how my life? Is this what we're doing now?" Yeah, I'm 30-something. Yep. Yo, it's the good stuff, man. It's awesome. So I'm gonna show some stuff from your IG that I saw, and I didn't even have to go deep. It was like the last 4 posts were just fire. And we're gonna talk about the game, man. So first question I always like to dig in with, man, is who are you at your core, man? Who's the guy, Raul Peralta, behind the work that I love?
Yeah, man. I've been watching your podcast for, I don't know, I guess consistently over the last 2 years, I guess. But, before then, just here and there, on and off. So I know this question is coming.
Yeah, you got the cheat code.
Man. I try not to, overthink it or get too deep with it or anything. Honestly, man, I'm just a guy like everybody else out there, man. Trying to figure this thing out, trying to produce the best work possible, trying to level up, day by day, keep pushing that needle forward. For me, it's just one of those things where as soon as I get something done, I always feel like, what's next? What could I be doing more? How could I be providing a better service? How could I step my game up in different aspects of areas that I'm trying to improve in, whether that's, with my family, with my kids, with being a protector, with brands and the message that I want to get out there. So yeah, man, I'm nobody special. There's no big philosophical, this is who I am. I'm just a guy trying to make it happen, man. Trying to succeed in any way possible.
What do you do for a living? Whatever it takes. No, I love it, man. That's good stuff, man. No, and that's really I think at the core of most good guys and good protectors, man. Always seeking to improve and always trying to be dependable for those who depend on us, right? So, I totally dig it. Tactical background. I've kind of gotten away from this question for a few episodes, but we gotta, I know there's all those guys out there with their cargo pants on right now want to know what your background is.
Let me go change real quick.
Right.
No, yeah, man. So just a little background on how I got into it, and kind of like you said, training background, I guess, tactical background. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17. I don't know if you guys noticed. Probably didn't notice, but yeah, man, I joined when I was 17, right out of high school. I knew that was something that I wanted to do at like from an early age, probably like 7th grade and on. I just knew that was my calling. That's what I wanted to do. My parents kind of were like, haha, sure you will.
Yeah, and then you think this is a game. You think
yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. And then, 17 rolled around as soon as I was able to.
Yep.
So I took the recruiter to go see my mom, and my parents were like, oh, okay, this is happening.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, joined the Marine Corps, joined with my primary MOS, primary job, military job, for those people who don't know what that is, was crash fire rescue. So
super cool.
I got 3 years of emergency response experience, structural fire, search and rescue, confined spaces, you name it, evac, responding to aircraft emergency calls and things like that. As everybody knows who's been in the military and the Marine Corps, a lot of it is just hurry up and wait. So it was a lot of training, cool. A lot of train ups, cool training to kind of sit around and for those once in a while emergencies. But it really got my interest peaked in the medical side of things and responding under pressure and having to act quickly. So that was a really good experience for me. Spent 2.5 years at Miramar Air Station doing training there. And then as I was in the Marine Corps, I kind of was like looking around and saying, my time is going to be up soon, and I really want to get out and do stuff. So just so happened that the recruiters, the team for the Marine security guards at the embassies came around, and I was like, man, this sounds pretty cool. There's a lot of travel involved, kind of the more tactical stuff involved here. Let me see what I can do with this. So
that's the stuff that everyone wants, the embassy stuff, man.
Yeah, man. It's one of those secrets, one of those things where I joined back when I got into it. It was 2007. Okay. So social media and YouTube still wasn't as big as it is now. So there was like very limited information on what exactly embassy duty was all about. Mm-hmm. There was a few videos, and then it was basically whatever you heard from other Marines and
scuttlebutt.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I was just like, you know what? This sounds good. Submit my package, see if they accept me. They were like, yep, you're good to go. You ship out to Quantico in 2 weeks. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So went out to Quantico, Marine Security Guard group, trained up. And then that's where you go through all your partnerships with the Department of State, all their protocols, all their training. So it was really good, man, really good training. And then got a piece of paper and said, you're going to Mozambique, Africa, pack your bags, and you'll be there for a year. So, yep, got sent out to Mozambique, was there at the embassy. And then from there it was Peru. And then we did a special tour of duty in China. So any countries that are high intel threats, you got to go back to Quantico, get a little briefing, a little trained up again, and then head back out.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. So that was my Marine Corps career. That was my military career. I spent 6 years total there. And then as I was coming and transitioning back, I worked closely with the diplomatic security guys while I was over there on embassy duty, and got to see a little bit behind the scenes on some close protection stuff. Yeah. Thought it looked pretty cool. Started going to school to maybe go that route. And I just so happened to get picked up by an executive protection firm out in LA. And that's where my EP career started, man.
Heck yeah, man. Dude, I didn't know all that stuff about you. That's super cool, man. That's a cool background.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. I have like 3 questions going in my head right now. Let's see. How would you define executive protection?
Man, that's a really good question.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You're OG in the game. You've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's got kind of a different spin on it. Comes down to a few things, but yeah, man, what would you think about that? And it doesn't surprise me you have that medical background, because Dude, when I saw your loadout when we were doing that photo shoot a while back, which we need to do another one because that was super dope.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been dripping those pictures of the guy. I haven't even really unleashed all that yet. I'm like,
yeah, me too.
Content. I have so much content still. But I remember seeing your sling bag, what you were rocking, and it was like, this dude's a medical dude. Like there's you know what I mean? Like you can tell where they come from, which is super awesome, you know, to have that on you for those situations. And you got to have medical equipment with you guys. Like you got to have your boo-boo kit and you need to have your medical equipment, man. There's a difference and you should have all of it. So yeah, but anyways, executive protection to you, man. What does it mean?
Yeah, man, I always think about this question because I feel like I feel like EP has come to encompass so much now, you know, but within the umbrella of EP, there's a bunch of different smaller, you know, sectors. But I think everybody just uses that term EP to relate to all of them.
Right.
And so it really depends on what you're trying to define, you know, like I think EP, if you want to break it down, EP is more of the civilian side, executive, right? That's why it's called executive protection. Business, maybe high profile, celebrity client who you are there to protect and serve. And I think there's a difference between EP, a PSD team, right, who is out, you know, downrange overseas. Yeah. And then there's, you know, you have an RST, then you have, you know, maybe a hybrid RST team, RST residential security for those not familiar with it. So there's a bunch of different levels, but I think it all gets jumbled up and thrown into that term EP. Yes. So for me, it's really important to define and really know what it is you're defining. Because if I tell somebody, listen, EP is you have to have customer service, you got to have emotional intelligence, you got to have the hard skills, the soft skills, you got to know when to shut up, you got to know how to manage your client. That may not correlate 100% with a PSD team who's downrange, you know, protecting a general or somebody else, because at that point your mission focus changes. Right. So your customer service skills don't have to be top notch for you to get the job done, but it's going to quickly get you fired in the EP industry if you don't have those things. So it's just different. You just got to make sure you know exactly what you're trying to define and what field you're trying to go down.
Yep, 100%, man. Well said. Said like a man what's been in the game for a minute. Yo, real quick, let's take a look at some of these clips I pulled from the EP detail. Only a dude who's been in the game can look at these. Let me share my screen, man. And I didn't even have to go deep to find these, man. These were the last three things. Here we go, share screen. These are the last three videos you posted. Okay. This one's awesome. You got your client telling you all about the game. Your principal gives you tactical advice and telling you how to run the security, essentially, right? What is it about the private security industry, bro? Like, is it just me, or does it seem like everybody is an expert that we work for?
Yeah, man. It seems like that. It seems like everybody wants to. You know what it is, man? I think, again, I've thought about these things a lot. Obviously, when you do what we do, there are times where you're sitting around for a long time and you have time to think.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought about like the optics of it. You know, our clients never get to see the real stuff that we do. They only get to see the times that we're driving them or the times that we're just standing outside a door. Mm-hmm. And they think, to them, I think it seems like they think these guys are just standing around all the time, you know, or just driving. They're not doing much. So it lends them that like comfort or that ability to say, oh, I could do that. You know, I could stand around and watch people and follow people. So I think that's where they might get a little bit of a sense of like, oh, let me tell them, you know, what I see from the backseat or what I see from the restaurant, and not knowing that in our heads, we're thinking about 100 different things. And we've already looked at that restaurant. We've already seen that exit doesn't work. Right. But they don't get to see those things.
Yeah, no, man. And I think that's kind of the other, you know, the interesting thing about it is if you're going to be good at this job, like it's one thing to secure a client. Like I would argue that many of our clients aren't secure. in a lot of cases because of their own preferences. You know what I mean? It's like they're like, don't follow me here, or it's like only be around me during this amount of time when I go these places, but don't be around me when
Yep.
I do these. And like, I don't want a guy in the room, and you know what I mean? And then like
Yep.
the reality of this game is like you have to respect that, you have to flow with that, or you won't even be in the game because you know, a wise man once said this to me, and I'll repeat it for years. You know, whose responsibility is it to secure your client? And I'm sitting there like, it's my responsibility. I'm a security professional. And he's like, nah, man, it's your clients. You're only able to do as much as they want. You're only there when they want. It's really their responsibility. So the sooner you realize, like, I'm gonna play my position and I'm gonna do it as good as they want when they want, and I'm as close to how they want as I can, but you know, in a way that I respect what I'm doing, this game becomes easier. But that was a real part of this game, man. It's hilarious.
100%.
No, I love it. I love it. This one right here for me hit home because I've experienced this so many times. Like I've been sitting in a hotel lobby at like 2:33 a.m. Just like seriously, like just go to your room. Like it's right upstairs. We got the elevator locked down. Playboy, just get it.
Yep.
Like
exactly.
Get in the elevator upstairs. Anyway. Yo,
and you tell them like, hey man, you guys don't remember I've been up since 05 this morning doing the advance for you.
Right. Well, you woke up at 2 p.m. and hopped in a car and then went to a venue, you know? Oh man, I love this one. Oh man. I think you have those people that right before they get to the car just have to talk to them. Yeah.
Yep.
Like one or two people in the green room just won't just let them walk out and go home.
The worst.
Yeah, man.
You're on the radio with your driver or you're on the phone. Hey, ETA 2 minutes, we're walking out. Then they get stuck. Hey man, kill that. Never mind.
What was this one? This one. Oh, I love this one too.
Yeah, man. This one, yeah. You see the words, and they're just screaming. It's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, it's scary, it's exciting. You're like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, you're bored. You think you're gonna get fired. You don't get fired. You do get fired. You find a new detail. It's an amazing. Then it sucks.
Yep. Yeah. So I saw that. I was like, oh man, this is perfect. This is literally what it's like on a week to week basis.
It's eating your life. You're home for no holidays. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I got this. Oh,
yeah. Then you get those cool details, where you get to travel and you get to do all this awesome stuff, and you think, oh man, like I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed. I'm so glad I got into this field. And the very next week, you get that reality check. You're sitting in a car for 12 hours on the corner, and you're like, why am I doing this?
Right, 100%, man. And it don't matter who you are, you're doing it. I love it, man. I love it. That's such a good one. And I tell the guys that come through my school all the time, like, look, bro, if you're a good human, I can get you into executive protection. That's not going to be hard. If you have the training and you're a good dude, I'll get you in. The difficult part is going to be getting you into a good home on a good team with a good client that like works for you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you really know you're winning in this game. It's one thing to get in and start doing the work, but when you really have like your book of clients and books of teams that you work with that are like, man, these are great places to work and be with. That to me is the second war.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, man, that's when it starts. And then the last one I had to show, I was only going to show 3, and then I saw this. It was so good. It was so good. Oh man, making eye contact with your principal.
Yep.
Oh man, I love it. And then you go back to doing what you're doing. It's so good.
Just keep doing it.
Oh man, dude, you're killing it with these, bro. Anyway, yeah, man. So no, man, I love those. They like make life easier in the EP game. Yeah, bro. Big thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying, man. That's the goal, man. That's the goal with that. Just to share it. Hopefully, have people laughing about situations they've been in before. Understand that they're not the only ones who have been there before, and that it will happen again. And then, and on a secondary, note with EP Detail, it's also people commenting, on them and having other people connect with other EP guys. I've had, believe it or not, through that Instagram page of networking with people, I've had opportunities come up. I've had, people when I've needed somebody or a solid guy and I have interacted with that person through that page, I'll then say, hey, bro, shoot me your resume here and let's talk and let's see what's going on. And I mean, it's all about connecting and who and so I think that's another benefit to that page, not just for myself, but anybody who's on that page that wants to scroll through the comments, see other guys who are commenting, connect with them on their own pages, and then hopefully create a relationship there. So
100%, man. No, it's actually great for community, man. That's like really good for community, because the only people that are going to know how funny those things are people who've done it and people who are doing it, man. So that's
exactly.
Actually, yeah, man. So what are you up to these days in the game? Wait, real quick. So the direction, EP Detail. What are you just, so for right now, is it just IG? Is it YouTube? What direction is that brand going in?
Yeah, man. So EP Detail primarily started off as that Instagram page of just sharing the memes, doing that stuff. And I actually didn't think there was going to be that much traction behind it. I didn't think like people were going to, I didn't think as many people that relate to it right now. I didn't think there was going to be that many people who did actually relate to it. So I was pretty surprised, and I was going to keep doing it anyways. But I'm glad that it's getting out there and people are enjoying it. So it's primarily the Instagram page. Associated with that page is the YouTube channel, EP Detail, same name, where it's a little bit more serious. We talk about more, I guess, information, suggestions, recommendations, things like that. Just any things that I've gone through. For example, the video that's done the best so far on that channel is the Victo sling bag review. So it's the bag that I use, that I carry. I used to use, other bags before, and this is just the one that I've stuck with for a number of different reasons. So I thought, let me, and I would get people to ask me, real quick, shout out my boy, Tim Royal. He's the one that put us onto that bag.
Tim Royal, what's up?
He's got his page, Protector's Opinion. So he's getting that started up, but, yeah, man, he's the one that put us onto that bag with a detail that we were on before, International Detail. Got our whole team using those bags, and we were like, bro, these bags are sick. They're awesome. So I did a review on the bag, posted it up on the YouTube channel, and it got a bunch of views and stuff like that. So those are the kind of videos that I'll be posting up there. I've taken a little bit of a step back from that creating YouTube videos for that channel just over the last couple of months, just because it's been so busy and I've had all these other things going on. But still, just got to prioritize things. But I'll still be putting out content there on the YouTube channel, and then working on the website for EP Detail as we speak. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, that'll be up. And the website will basically just be a landing page for EP Detail Instagram, the YouTube channel, and then a couple of digital products that I'm looking to put out. So for example, one of them I'm looking to do is just kind of helping people build their resume, give them some interview tips for questions that you get as a protection specialist, things like that, where people can have that resource available to them.
Heck yeah, bro. Awesome. Doing things for the industry, contributing to the game, not just, some of these haters be killing me sometimes. I'm like, well, what are you doing, man? Like, like they'll pop up on my feed, and like I don't really read the comments too much, if I'm being completely honest, dude. I run 10 different platforms, 4 or 5 profiles on Instagram. Like I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, bro, I don't know how you do it, man. Right? Honestly, man.
But every once in a while I'll see one and be like, seriously, bro. Then I'll go to their profile and be like, just stop. Just, you know what I mean? Like, or do something, or make your contribution. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like my stuff, I'm just the man in the ring, bro. I'm the man in the ring. Don't be the guy in the stands. Y'all know the poem. So, nah, man, I love it, dude. And your stuff is great, though. Like your gear, your all of it. We're gonna get into your gear and stuff too later. A few more questions about the game, and then the other thing, dude. Like, isn't it crazy how good gear reviews do? Like, I'm not really a gear guy, so like I'm over here like coming up with content I think is the most amazing. I'm like, this is the best video ever. It's so beautiful, amazing. Then I put it out there. Nobody cares. No one cares. I'm like, you tactical review on the latest pocket knife, and everyone's like, wow. I'm like, it's got. I'm like, all right. I guess I'm gonna do more gear reviews, guys. So that's coming too.
I guess I'm gonna listen to the algorithm.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. You gotta play smart.
Yeah, right. I'll do a video like on the Vactive side, like, oh, this was gonna hit, you know, it's so deep, the music is awesome. I put it out there and I'm like, all right, nobody listened to it. I do like some text quote that's like 2 seconds long and everybody shares it, and I'm like, oh, all right.
All right, guys. The crowd, the mob has spoken. No, man. No, I totally dig it. Well, let's just, now that we're into the brands, Vactive, man. What is Vactive? Break it down. Thanks for the gear the other day. I'll be rocking that. I'm finna be rocking that stuff, man. Good looking out, taking care of your boy.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I appreciate you with all the support, man. It's a big help. You know, I got a couple guys out there that are supporting, so it's always helpful when you know there's some support behind it, you know. Yeah, man. So I guess the easiest way to say it is, you know, I always knew that I wanted to have some sort of brand that represents the people who, you know, the tagline for let's start Vactive is just abbreviation for violently active. So
I love it, bro.
Yeah, man.
I wish I came up with it. I love it so much.
Yeah, so those two words together, you know, makes the brand name Vactive. And for me, the tagline for or the slogan for Vactive is "The struggle is the test." And basically, it is just for people who have been through, you know, struggles, pain, you know, adversity. And I'm not talking about like, oh, my bills were late or something like that. You know, like I'm talking about like real stuff. You know, you've been through the shit and you found a way to come through on the other side, and you didn't let it break you. You know, you're still making moves. You're still standing. You're still here. You're still making contributions. You're still looking for ways to improve. Yep. Win any way possible, man. And so that's the message behind Vactive. My thing is like, it's not necessarily a military or veteran brand or a, you know, MMA boxing brand, but it does encompass, because I feel like all of those people that are in those specific fields all have gone through similar
trials,
experiences about the struggle and pain and things like that. So it just resonates, I think, more with those communities. But for me, the thing is that there's a lot of brands out there who kind of have a similar message or try to portray that message. But for me, the brand is just too, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to disrespect any brands or anything, but it's just too, you know, you got skulls all over the place. You got guns everywhere, 100%. Knives all over.
And like, I can't wear this. I can't get jiggy to this. Like, I mean, like, I need to look like a normal guy. I need to look like a classy dude who's athletic while I'm doing my stuff. Yeah, I mean, not like I got baggage from the sandbox while I'm trying to just walk and do stuff. You know,
exactly. And you'll notice that with like a lot of these, like, you know, these other brands and even like fighting brands. You know, they have a tiger with boxing gloves on and stuff like, which is cool. Like there's a time and place for it, right?
You're going to the
I have my own. Yeah. I got my own sweaters with skulls and Spartan helmets and all that stuff, but there's a time and place for it. And for me, I just saw that there was a little bit of maybe a hole where you had these communities, but could still wear a shirt that was a little bit more minimalistic, maybe not as, you know, in your face with it. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's how it started. And, you know, it's taken a long time. I've had this idea in my head for a long, long time. But as I said, you know, just as you say often, you know, you gotta do the work to feed the machine. So, you know, you can't be starting things when you don't have the fuel and the food to feed that machine. So it's just taken a little bit of a while to get started, but now we're off and running, man. We got the shirts out, hoodies out, hats out. Website is about, the store is about to launch in the next couple of weeks. Instagram, TikTok, we're just putting out content. So, I mean, it's just, from here on up, man.
Heck yeah, no, I'm proud of you, bro. You're getting Frankenstein up. Once you know how it is, bro. You be in your little like lab making something, and like this is gonna be amazing. And then all of a sudden, once Frankenstein sits up, you're like, oh my gosh, like I gotta feed this thing, like I gotta keep it alive. The thing is too, man, a lot of people on what you said, there's that seed, time, and harvest principle, man. Like everybody's got ideas. What separates the men from the boys? Everyone's got seed. Like you can make a baby, but what separates the men from the boys is, can you actually feed and sustain that baby or that seed or that idea until you can give birth to it in reality? And then that's when becoming a man is like, I can protect and provide for this thing until it can become something that can feed me, and that's what you're doing with that, man. And it takes time. And a lot of guys, they get the idea, and then life's just like, okay, bop, bop, bop. And then they kind of like, let go. They let go of it and they back off. And it's like, nah, I might not win right now, but I'm going to get this done. I got a project right now. It's taking me a year and a half. We're on the 10-yard line. We're probably 2 years. I'm on the 10-yard line getting ready to launch this thing. And I mean, it has been a war. It has been a war, bro. And I don't even know.
I saw that on your notes, on your Instagram notes. I saw that. I saw it said 10-yard line, and I stopped and I was like, oh, all right, something's coming.
Yeah, bro. We move like the G in lasagna. You know what I'm saying? Lasagna, nobody knows till we drop it. Anyway, good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Respect. What are you up to these days, like in the EP industry? Like, what are your roles that you're performing right now that you can talk about?
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to hit on, because I think a lot of people in our field will eventually encounter it, or have already experienced it. I was on as you were saying, once you find that home, once you find that detail, once you find that team, I always try to stay away from saying you've made it, but there's a certain level where you get to in this field where you can say, I've made it. I've stamped my name.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You say, I've stamped my name. I've done the work. I've put in all the, the sweat. I've done the crappy details. I've done the halls and walls. Yep. I've done it, man. And now I'm on this, my name has gotten out there. I've got the reputation, and now I'm on this detail where I'm doing the stuff I always thought I would be doing. So I was on the detail like that for just a little over 3 years, maybe I think 4 years. Everything was solid, man. Yeah, man. Everything was solid. It was a dream detail, man. You couldn't ask for a better detail. Had a solid team. We were constantly traveling with our principals. Just great overall team, man. And unfortunately, circumstances came about. A little bit of it had to do with COVID. We got over that hump, and we thought, okay, we're smooth sailing now. And like I said, just unforeseen circumstances that you don't see coming. And as you said, sometimes life comes up and just bops you in the mouth. And got the call just on a random team call that we always have. And we got the news that, hey, the detail is going to be canceled and it's going to end, in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, man. And it was pretty, it's one of those where you got to take a step back, because you've already been on this detail. You established a lifestyle. I have a family that I'm taking care of. So you really got to get your mind right. Yep. Get your mind right. Not go into a panic mode, and just really look at that 30,000 foot perspective of what's next. What can you do?
Next steps.
Yeah, man. And just like you said, I really appreciate you saying that, because it's like, there's times where, things like that happen and guys do pull back, and for me, I'm not going to sit here and say, that I've always been that guy that when shit goes wrong or whatever, I've always gone forward, because we all go through learning experiences. But this time, was different. I noticed it in myself mentally, and how I was thinking when that happened. Instead of like regressing and woe is me and oh man, I was like, what?
Cool. Covering up.
Yeah. And that happened. I said, what? Cool. This happened. Let's find a solution. Let's hit the ground running, man. As soon as we hung up that phone, I was like, boom, take action. What's next?
Massive action. Going to war and start maneuvering.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. yeah. So I mean, I just doubled down, man, on everything. I was like, cool. Like, the detail ends. You want to throw me back in the trenches? Cool. Like, I'll come out of the trenches. And so I just doubled down on everything, man. Yeah, I doubled down on the Vactive
on them fools.
Yeah, man. You want to see me get Vactive on you?
Right. I love it, bro.
So yeah, good, bro. So I just doubled down, man. I started just throwing content at the Vactive side. I started like hitting up all my contacts, everybody that I've worked with in the past, everywhere, man. Just started filling out resumes for stuff that was like way like I probably would never even consider it.
Hail Marys.
Exactly.
Drop it on top of me. Broken arrow. Gooks in the wire.
Everything, man. Yep. So that was that. But I just wanted to bring that up, because it will happen, man. You're going to get that contract is going to end. Something's going to end abruptly. You're going to think that you're on a great team, a great detail. And then all of a sudden, 1 week to the next, you're out looking for the next detail to be on or the next company to work for and things like that. So, luckily, with all that being said, luckily, I do have contacts. I would like to think that, in every place that I've worked, I've tried to be as professional as possible, maintain, a high standard. So, I think people recognize that. I have guys that I will always refer to that I know are solid guys. And one of my friends, shout out to Mike Martinez, he put me on. Martinez. Yeah, he's out there as well. He's executive protection professional. He helped me out tremendously, man, and put me in contact with some personal assistants. And just so happened that their high net worth family was looking to start their own team. They needed a project manager. I was coming off of a similar contract where we had gone privately with our principal. So it just lined up perfectly, man. And I ended up landing that position. So came in as basically head of security for this family and building the team and running the team and getting people onto the team. And man, it has been a process, brother. I mean, we're starting from this whole family, and this is a process. They're a whole business, as I'm sure you know and have worked with. So it is demanding and it's constant movement. And we hit the ground running, man. There was no, okay, we're going to bring you in, train you up. It was, hey, as soon as you guys are in, we expect everything to run smoothly. So, man, it's been a process, but it's been great, man. Like, it's been a lot of learning experience, from interviewing guys to be on the team, looking at, different resumes. It's crazy because I went from losing a job to within, 2 weeks being the hiring, manager. And it's like, it's been great, man. It's been really good. And I'm grateful and I'm blessed. Operations are running good right now. So it's evolving. We're constantly getting more responsibilities. Some travel might be here in the future and just things like that, as long as we can provide that service and build that trust.
Yep. And use that network. Dude, you said a few different things, man, that are huge. One, gents, listen, message. I need that little message. I need like a little message got to pop in these podcasts. Listen, always be selling security. Always be selling security, you guys. Like, this game is feast or famine. It's seasonal. There's so many things that can put you in a position where you have to then utilize, you have to find your next thing. And I find that the best parachute to build is your network. Your network is your net worth. And this is why, shameless plug, because it works, with our courses, you also become part of the league. So now you have a network that I'm spending thousands of dollars to bring more people into the network. So you are looking for a position, you're looking to get on that rebound, you want to get in the industry. There's a network of other people that have trained with you that are out there in the industry that you can also network with. Your network is your parachute. It's your lifeblood to your detail. You're going to another country. You need contacts, your network. So, having that membership to the league or being a person in the industry who's well known, who has street credit in this game, can keep you at that level that you've been operating at. You know what I'm saying? So that's huge. Always be selling security. The other thing you said was that Vactive approach, man. It's huge. Violently active. I got guys that come through my course. They do every single thing that I say, and they get to work and they start putting those resumes out. Boom, they get picked up. 3 to 6 months. They're in the game, making money, 6 figures. They're in the game. I got other dudes that come through the course. They complete it. They start hesitating. They start overthinking things, and they're still just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna send in my one resume to them. I'm like, no, homie. You should send out 20 resumes a day. There shouldn't be a security company in the United States that has not heard your name, that doesn't know that you're not calling back saying, hey, is there anything I could improve? After that interview, like, you need relationships. You need to widen your sphere of relationships. You need to be like, you're in a firefight. Every single moment counts, and your ability to move is your ability to stay alive. So like, start hitting. And if you're getting bad results, find out why, make those corrections, and keep sending rounds down range and pin that enemy, maneuver on them, and eliminate them. Like, this isn't a game, it's life. You know what I'm saying? So that violently active thing you were talking about that's how you find success, right? And you learn, you either hit it and become successful because you hit it right, or you learn how to hit it because you're getting feedback. There's a feedback loop that's going on. So, dude, much love and respect, man. Good job. Well done on that.
Yeah, man. That's true. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you got to be out there,
hustling, selling
everything you can, man, everything you can. And like you said, with the network that you build, I think it's super important, especially for people who, like you said, are just starting. Maybe they have some security, a baseline of security, and they want to improve and get into the EP thing, man. I think with the emergence of social media and how much EP is now starting to be kind of known, there's a lot more competition, man. That's just the reality of the game. There's a lot more competition. There's guys out there who are doing training. There's guys out there who want to get to these, high level places. And there's a lot more info on how to get there now than there was before. So
maybe I had to do with that. I don't know. But anyway,
a little bit.
A couple thousand videos later, it's all good. Maybe we, but no, dude, it's the truth, man. And when I say selling security too, real quick, you guys, like, that means when you run into another security professional on a detail, maybe you're chasing the pager, you want him to know how awesome it is to work with you. You want him to give you a call back. You run into house staff, nannies, drivers, everyone. Those are the cheat codes, man. You want to manufacture, procure, and maintain high quality relationships with these players that are in the same industry, in the same game, on the same detail. You want to survive on that detail? You really better understand how to do these relationships. Like, this is the stuff. Yeah, I'm saying. So, hey, success leaves clues unless you're clueless.
I like that one, man. Always dropping these small little quotes, man. I pick up on them, dude, on the podcast, on the videos. You drop something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use that one.
No, thank you, man. That's good, dude. I appreciate it. Let's see. What are you looking for when you're interviewing these guys these days? I think there's some people that would want to know that. Like, when you're sitting across from a dude who's wanting to come on a detail, what are you really assessing?
Man, that's, like I said, it's been such a learning process for me too. Really I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I'm this professional who has 500 positions and I've interviewed and done this. Like, for me, I think the reason I was put into that position was just from some of the things that I mentioned earlier, in building relationships, having that emotional intelligence, and more than anything, listening to the client and that client's personal assistant and things, because those assistants are the voice for the principals, for the clients. Yeah. And that personal assistant is whatever they say, they're the gatekeepers. Yes. So you gotta have your ears open and listen to what they want, and not tell them everything you can do for them, but listen to the things that they want, their gripes, what they are looking for in security.
Yep.
So, man, I was put in that position, like I said, and I got, thanks to everybody, man. I got hundreds of DMs and resumes sent to my email and phone calls and things like that. Which is why with EP Detail, the website, in a couple of weeks, I want to be able to put out that digital resource to help, to be able to have a layout where you can go through things. But honestly, man, one of the big things I'm looking for when I get that that voice to voice or face to face, I'm just looking for somebody who is cool, calm, collected. I ask them questions. They are able to speak clearly, concisely. It shows that they have experience and they're not kind of pulling things out of the air, or just giving me the words that I want to hear, but it actually telling me from experience, hey, I've done this. So I'll ask them, hey, have you worked at a residence before? Have you worked with the principal? Have you traveled? What was your experience like? What did and you didn't you like?
Right.
Because if they can tell you like, oh, I like this, I didn't like this, you can kind of start to get hints about what they've done, where they've been.
And if they act like they liked all of it, then they need to be straight up. You know what I'm saying? And if I ask you about a negative aspect of your personality, don't be like, I'm just too much of a perfectionist. I just so much perfection has to come out of me that I just can't handle it. I do it. Sometimes I'm just sitting there. The worst one is I'm like, give me a negative quality that you have. They're like, I don't have any. And then I'm like, self-awareness. You got to work on self-awareness, bro.
Yeah, man. 100%. You do, man. And you get those answers. It's funny, and it's, not to fault them. Sometimes they think that's the right answer, right. But man, if I could tell you all my negative qualities, I spend hours a day thinking about them and how to improve them. So it's like that's really what I'm looking for, man, is like you said, somebody who is self-aware, has that high level awareness of the things that they're saying, how they're acting, somebody who's professional.
Yeah.
And again, yes, your resume definitely matters. I want to see the experience, but you'll have guys who have awesome, amazing resumes. But when it comes to the little daily tasks, man, it's like they just can't do those small things.
Yep.
And you have to be somebody that's flexible, somebody that's willing and able to mold and flow with what the principal needs. So that's basically what I'm looking for, man. Yep. Professional, somebody who's flexible, a team player, somebody who talks and speaks well, and everything else we can work on, jot down and work on.
Dude, I can teach anyone tactics, but character is what I need. I need you to have character. And then I've learned, really, for me too, like on that topic too, is competence, right, at the job, which I'm actually less worried about, because I can really, if you have the heart, I can make you competent. But temperament and character, man, like your temperament, like you could be a Jedi, an actual real life Jedi, ninja, Viking, but like if you don't have the right temperament and you don't have the right personality, like characteristics, like can you gain cultural equity? Like if we're going to be taking care of some corporation that you think is a joke, can you actually make them feel like their culture is actually important enough for you to learn, understand, and want to integrate with, and then bring what skills you have to that culture in service, rather than being like, well, I was a Navy SEAL, so my culture's cooler than yours, and like, you know what I mean? So that temperament and character are like huge. I can get you competent if you want. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's all about training. Nobody goes onto a detail knowing all of the things that principal requires or needs. It takes time. You could even if you've been doing this for 10 years, every detail is different. Yep. So it's going to take time for you to acquire those skills. But like you said, that's a great point. The word I was searching for, actually, temperament. That's definitely what you need, mm-hmm. especially in the private sector, man. You're going to get an array of principals. Mm-hmm. You're going to have some very demanding ones, and you have to be able to manage that stress, all the things that they tell you to do. Yep. You cannot let it blow your mind. You can go back in the car once you drop them off and you can curse the steering wheel out. Yeah. Right. But you gotta maintain that smile and wave, man. That's what I tell all my guys: smile and wave, man.
Baby, you gotta be like a duck. Calm on the outside, feet is kicking on the inside.
Yeah, they tell you do this. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No problem. Get it done.
100%, man. With a smile, man. It's service, man. That's awesome. Let's see here. What about, what advice would you give someone if they wanted to get into the executive protection industry? How to get into the game? The classic.
I'm gonna refer you to EP Detail meme.
Send it.
No, man. I posted one where it's I'm gonna just put it out there because I think it's funny, but it's actually so true, man. Yeah. There's a little clip from like Lord of the Rings where he says, fine then, keep your secrets. And it's like somebody asks me, hey bro, how do I get into the EP game? Yeah. And I tell them, right? I'm like, all right, man, here's what you got to do. First of all, you got to seek out good training, and I'm going to point you to this training. First of all, you're going to have, if you don't come from a military law enforcement background, you're going to have to get a few years on being a guard somewhere. You're going to have to go stand in front of a gate at a concert and check people's wristbands. You're going to have to do some of that for a few years. Don't just think you're going to do it for 3 months or 6 months and then all of a sudden you're good to go. You might have to do 2 or 3 years of that, escalating, getting more responsibilities. As you do that, you're going to have to start taking courses, a credible EP course, a credible medical course, Stop the Bleed, TECC, EMTB, whatever it is. Then you're going to have to pile those courses on. You can't just take one. You got to take a few of them, gather your certificates. You know, I tell them step by step how to do it. While you're doing that, start looking around, start building your network, start talking to people who are doing it or similar or close to what you want to do.
Relationships.
All of these things, right? And I'll break it down in like 4 bullet points. Maybe I don't go as in depth, but I tell them 4 bullet points. And then they'd be like, yeah, seems weird, man. Seems, all right, okay, cool. And they'll go do something else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told you exactly what to do.
Literally
like, I don't,
bro, I'm like,
I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. Like there's, especially, man, if you are in LA, if you're in Los Angeles or Southern California or Northern California for that matter, we have it so
good,
freaking good, man.
So
you have no idea the amount of opportunities and EP companies that are out there, man. Literally go on Google and type in EP jobs in Los Angeles, and there's a list of 20, 30 companies who are hiring people. It's like that's not the case in almost every other state in the US.
States.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you're out in Texas, there might be like a handful of companies. You know, if you're out in Florida, exactly, there might be another handful of companies. Man, LA, it's everywhere. Every security company is an EP company.
100%, bro. Nah, man. And that's why I tell these guys, man, start hitting everybody up. But what you said, I think was huge and very important is like, make sure you have the training, make sure you have something to fall back on that makes you legitimate. Like, you know, like, yeah, sure. Guys get the job because they're jacked and tan. Yeah, sure. Guys get the job because they have a once upon a time background. But if you're trying to get into this game and break into this industry, getting the training that's relevant to it, message. That's why I put together the hard skills intensive. You walk away with 4 different levels of medical certification, the highest level of driving training available to the civilian population, which is another sexy certification that people are chasing, and a full shooting package where we get you up to standards and things like that. Boom. If you've been enjoying the podcast, I want to encourage you to come and train with me. Train with us, the League of Executive Protection Specialists. We offer online courses so you can train and learn how to take your executive protection career to the next level from the comfort of your own home. We offer on-ground training on everything from the hard skills of driving, shooting, medical, and into the soft skills through the Executive Protection Immersion course, which is one of the most experiential, learning-centric courses in the executive protection industry. Either way, I want you to become part of the golden standard in the private security industry and join the brotherhood, the League of Executive Protection Specialists. Go to epspecialist.com and let's do our careers together. I'll see you there. Out. Like, boom. Then you get a group of people that are working that you get connected to. Boom, your network. And then you get help with your resume and interviewing, all these things. Like, these things are all necessary for you to do. The answers are all out there. But what you're saying, which I think is hilarious, is, and I experience the same thing when I get people hitting me up. That's literally why I created Training Day, because I get this in my DMs all the time, is I'm like, there's the path. But what makes the difference is that person's emotional intelligence. How bad they want it, and do they have the internal software that'll cause them to be like, cool, I'll pull the trigger. If you show me the path to get what I want, homie, it's done. It's done. The amount of things
going after it.
I've had to figure out with no mommy, daddy cheat code, nothing that I've had to freaking out of midair create. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me you have the?
That's what I was alluding to. You know, with you putting out the content. You know, I think the school is great, man. That's you and I were talking about it, and I was telling you, like, man, I want to get our guys, you know, from that detail I was on before to get out there, because we were doing a very similar thing where the company was reimbursing us to do 4 trainings a year in each of those aspects. So a shooting day, a driving course, a medical course, and then some sort of specialized EP course. And it was like, then you had just started that up, and you and I started talking. I was like, dude, this is everything we need. Like, we'll just all go to that course, get it done. And I was like, this is genius. This is what you need, somewhere where you can go, especially for people who don't have those years of experience where they've been able to build that up, but want to get into it. There needs to be something like that.
100%.
That's really great, man.
Get it knocked out, but get it done one way or another. And then you can sit in front of an employer with integrity and be like, hey, this is what I've done. This is what I've invested in myself. We're much less afraid to invest in people who invest in themselves. Message.
Yeah.
Hardest lesson you've learned in this game. There's some real good ones on your Instagram, but what would you say, bro?
Man, that's a really good question. There's so many. There's a lot of little lessons that you learn along the way that you build up. I think I'll go back to what I said before. Prior to this issue with the last contract, there was another similar situation that I went through. And it really made the biggest lesson I could say, the biggest takeaway I've gotten over the last few years is you cannot sit around feeling bad for yourself, man. Everybody goes through it, man. Everybody goes through a phase of like, damn, that didn't work out, or you're feeling down or whatever. But I think the biggest thing is shortening the length of time that you feel that way. Yes. So, when you're young, you don't have maybe all of the experience to understand that, hey, as long as I put in the work, as long as I get back up on my feet, as long as I do this, it's going to be okay. So you might feel like that for months when you're younger, but as you get older, as you start getting more experience, that time frame has to shorten down, man, to the point where, hey, something bad happens, shit hits the fan, whatever. Time. You get it, you realize, you learn, and you say, all right, let's go, let's move on. I feel bad for myself for a minute. Yep. I got it. Let's go. So that's been my biggest takeaway over the last few years, man. And I feel like that shift in my mindset has really helped me with everything else that I've been able to do since that point. Just like I said, man, no one's coming to help you. Like you said, do you know how much stuff I've had to do to figure out with no advice? Like that's at its core, that's what it is. It's all on you, man. You have to do it. You could have great homies. You could have great network. At the end of the day, man, they care about you enough to help you, but they're not going to push you and hold your hand to that position, man. So everything at the end of the day is up to you. You got to get over it and move on and get on with what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Proudest moment in the game. Doing this work. Proudest moment.
See, that's an easy one. And I only say it's easy because there's probably been other moments that probably were better, but this is one that I latch onto, that I have a clear picture of being like, yeah, I killed that. Yeah. So yeah, it was a principal of ours, traveling overseas, New Year's, and as was most of the time on this detail, we were solo practitioner, and
that's game time.
I'm telling you, man.
And it's during a holiday, y'all, so this is increased difficulty.
Yeah, it was overseas on New Year's, just me, and we had no advance. Basically, I was hitting the ground. I got the clients, the principals to the hotel
on the way down.
Yep. I had a few hours to get the advance. I had the itinerary, and man, it was over the course of 4 days. I had already been traveling with them prior to that, but this was the block of my 2-week travel. This block of 4 days was the New Year's Day, the New Year's Eve travel portion. Mm-hmm. So I just knew that it was all on me. It was make or break right here, So man, I just utilized every experience that I had up until that point to just try to provide not only the best possible coverage I could, but also service. So there was several times during that 4-day period where the principal came in and would say, oh, like, we didn't call to confirm the reservation. Boom, it's handled. Really? You did it? Yep. Oh, I don't know if we're going to be able, they said they were going to put us here, but we want it to be on the beach side. Boom, it's handled. I already did it.
Yeah.
And then, another thing was like, went to a restaurant the day before. They didn't have the principal's reservations there. I had to call the principal's office, tell them that the reservations weren't done. Completely avoided a huge mishap of the principal showing up and having to wait and no reservations. Told them, they were like, oh my God, thanks for going over there and figuring that out. We had no idea, blah, blah, blah. So just a bunch of things back to back to back that just ended up going my way just based off of, doing that.
At any rate, nah, man, that's awesome. And that stuff is when all your skills get tested, man. I've been on details where they be sending me on the solo gigs just because everybody knows, this is going to make or break somebody. And I'm like,
yeah.
Now y'all going to send me on the third one-man country situation we've had all year. And they're like, well, it's just your turn. And I'm like, I did the last three of them. And I'm like, y'all just know I'm the only one who can pull it off. This is. Nah, man.
Yeah.
Because you're building the parachute on the way down. If you don't do your due diligence, you get blown up. You get left out to dry. You can't blame anybody. What are you gonna do? You're gonna blame the PAs that the reservation wasn't done, the handlers, so they can kill you death by 1,000 cuts over the next 3-4 months. Is that what you're gonna do? Sorry. Yeah. So it's like those are the real tests, man. And then when you get through that stuff, crises are averted. It's like, man, and it's not the sub-second draw. It's the administrative skills, the concierge, man.
Yeah. And I don't want to have anybody get the wrong idea. Like, you are doing all that stuff while still maintaining a high level of situational awareness and planning and security. So, while you're doing all that, on the day, for example, of New Year's and the event that they were attending and all of these things, like, I still had to advance the route. Yeah. I still had to advance the route. I still had to pick the optimal route. I still had to be with them and be looking at all these, crazy people around and making sure that everything was good. And other times where, my principals wanted to cross at a certain point and there was law enforcement saying nobody should cross here. And then people started running across the street and damn near in a riot situation. I had to grab the principals and the friend,
of course,
and, go to a different location and cross there. And so it's just a bunch of different things that are going on. So it's not just, the concierge part or customer service. That is just included in the job title.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that was one of my proudest moments in the professional aspect. And man, guess what? There's no rewards for it. There's no medals. There's no trophies. Nobody knew.
Nope.
Nobody knows.
As far as they're concerned, it went exactly how it was supposed to go.
Yep. But I remember, I know what, I'm going to take that back. I remember the end of that trip. Principals are wheels up. I'm in the lounge, like, thank God. I'm serving myself that cold beer because I'm like, I deserve this.
Yeah.
And I got a text from the principal and said, hey, just want to let you know, amazing job these last couple of days. Everything went off great. And thanks for all your hard work. And man, that was enough for me. I was like, good to go. That's what it's about, man. So
that honestly means it's funny because I get that answer a lot here where guys are just like, yeah, man. And then the principal said, good job. Like, and that's for us. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's and you're like, wow, you pull off crazy detail. You're like turning water into wine, spinning hay into gold, like holding lightning in your hands. And then it all like happens. And then the principal's like, hey, you know what? They're like walking to their jet and they turn around. They're like, you know what? Good job. And you're like, oh, your heart. Yeah, man.
I have a video. I have a video right now, a little clip that I haven't posted yet, but it's like an NBA player, and he's like taking his jersey off, and there's like people celebrating and stuff, and I have the wording of like exactly what you said, man. Like, after you do all this crazy stuff, and the principal says, good job, it feels like the crowd just goes like, and you're just like, thank you.
It's so good. I can't wait for you to drop it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, final closing questions. Favorite quote, mantra?
Oh, man.
They all leave your mind when I ask this question.
No, dude, I have the opposite problem, man. I have too many, man. I have too many.
Drop a few, man.
I'll tell you my favorite one because I have it tatted right here, so it's got to mean something. Discipline or regret, man. That's my favorite one. And the whole quote is, if you think the pain of discipline hurts, or the price of discipline is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret.
Yep, 100%.
So that's one of my favorite. And then I'll drop one more just because it's a close battle. I think this one might be the next tat, but this one says, I never saw a wild thing who felt bad for itself.
Yeah.
And that one has gotten me through a lot of shit, man, because, the world, nature, this whole thing doesn't care about you, man. It doesn't care.
No. So get Vactive and get what the frick you want out of this life, bro.
100%. Dude, definitely, man.
I was actually getting ready to drop a video on that exact same thing. And I was sitting there thinking, like, I know I'm on the spectrum for psychopathy because my relationship with my emotions is I watch my emotions. I know how I feel, but my emotions don't feel like they don't control me at all,
mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting. I don't know how I got that way. Maybe traumas, I don't know, but I've studied it quite a bit, in master's of psychology, but and I was thinking about the last time I cried, and it was really legitimately decades in Iraq. But I was wanting to just talk to everyone. You need to watch life totally impartially, like a snake watches its prey. You need to just watch life and feel nothing and wait and just see what it's trying to teach you, what your deficiencies are, what your weaknesses are. You should feel nothing. Okay, cool. I need to tighten this up. Okay, cool. I need to do this better. Okay, cool. Life is showing me that I'm not good enough for that. I should work on that. Okay, cool. And you just, if you can just focus, man, without all the am I good enough and stuff that they want you to get into, and just be what do I need to learn? And just be fierce about being a professional student. You level up 100 million times quicker. It's good stuff, man. I ain't never seen a wild thing feel sorry for itself. Nobody cares. It don't care. Get better.
Yep.
I'm saying victory.
Exactly.
Solid. A habit that you think makes people better protectors or even better humans?
A habit, man.
Or a discipline or a practice?
No, I think 100% the gym, man. 100% the gym and health, bro. So in a prior life, I was a personal trainer. I worked at Equinox, the gym, if you guys don't know what that is, but I was there for It's
not the big show.
With your clientele.
Little gym. That might even be a client factory.
Exactly. That's that. Hey. But man, I think, and I tell this to anybody that wants to listen, anybody that cares, anybody that asks me, a lot of us that take fitness personally on the surface level, it seems like an, egotistical thing that you're doing for yourself, something selfish to look good. And for a lot of guys and girls, that may be where it starts off at. But I think everything you do stems from that, man. Just you being able to get up consistently, push yourself, get to the gym. I put on one of my quotes on Vactive, I've grown more mentally in the gym than I have anywhere else in this place that's meant for you to grow physically,
Yeah.
And it's man, I just think that if you can start there with that, on your mind, getting to the gym consistently, not just going through the motions, but doing hard physical taxing workouts day in and day out for years, your whole life will change, man. You'll become more confident. You'll realize that you can actually do stuff. You can actually change. And that'll give you that fuel and motivation to go out and do the next project and the next project and the next one. So man, that's my habit, man. It's simple to say, but hard to do and stick with, man.
Much wisdom is simple yet difficult, but it's true, man. Everything I think comes out of that, man. I don't even know if I can really be close with someone who's not on that path. You know what I mean? Just it's
Yeah.
And I love people that don't go to the gym. Don't get me wrong. Like I have friends, but like it's just that path is so important. Not to mention about additional to the things you mentioned, it's medicine, like the endorphin relief, what it does release, what it does for your body and your mind. It's the number one way to strengthen your mind. You can build more brain cells, they're finding. Like it's a number one way to stop yourself from getting Alzheimer's. Like it's just what it does for you biologically and physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in there. Recreating yourself through death is just it's the stuff.
That's what it is, man. You're making those micro tears in the muscle, killing the cells, rebuilding them. It all connects, man. And it's funny you said, like, you know, I don't remember the last time I cried. Like, bro, the last time I cried was in the gym.
Tough,
like, I'm just listening to music, just lifting, and like all these things, like emotions come out, and it's therapy, man. And you're just in there getting after it, you know, working through stuff. And on a separate note, you know, if you don't like the gym lifting, you know, going out and training martial arts, you know, doing something physical, same thing, man. You can do and build the same habits there. So yeah, the habit would be training, you know, physical fitness, something physical. That's what I would say.
100% necessary. At the end of the day, what's it all for? How do you want to be remembered?
Hey man, at the end of the day, you know, I always think about, as long as I feel like I got to be the one in my family to make that next step, you know, to make that next leap. So at the end of the day, if I could say I did that and I put my whole family on a better path, on a better trajectory, my kids, you know, if I can pass down all these lessons, if I can kill demons that I got passed to me and make sure my kids can, you know, thrive. I can pass on the good lessons to them and let them know that, hey, you're going to struggle, you're going to go through this, you're going to do that, but guess what? You're good. You're going to find a way forward. I'm good with that, man. So that's what I'm here for. Trying to show through example, you know, what can be done, and make sure that they have that example to move forward and pass on to their kids and to the world. So
heck yeah, man. Good stuff, dude. I love it. I love it, man. Raul, you're a savage, dude. I love you, man. Good stuff.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
No, man. Yeah, I think we share a similar mindset. So I think, you know, that's where we connected. But yeah, man, I appreciate you. You know, again, with all the support, even from, you know, from the very beginning of EP Detail and on through now, and just us connected, man. I always appreciate you, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. We just warming up. We're young dudes. We still just kind of, we're still just getting you seeing what we can do, you know? So much more to come, you guys. Man, there's so much good information in this interview. It's going to hit so hard, bro. And then where can people find you? What are you up to these days? Where can people find you? We'll put all the links in the show notes. I'm sure you'll send them to me afterwards, but if anyone's listening and want to go look you up right now.
Yeah. So for the Vactive stuff, at Vactivewear on Instagram. It's not a bunch of marketing stuff.
It's good content.
A bunch of reels and a bunch of videos on motivation, philosophy, mindset, all that stuff. This is just the stuff behind all that. So, you know, that's where I'm at on Vactive. EP Detail at EP_detail. That's the haha, let's laugh about it a little bit. And then on YouTube, both of them, EP Detail on YouTube, Vactive on YouTube. Check out that channel is going and growing soon. So yeah, man. And then my personal is Raul_Vactive. So everything is connected, pretty easy. That's what it is, man.
I love it. You're like me, multiple brands. You know what I'm saying? Multiple brands. You get it. One of them's gonna, you know, all of them are blowing up, but they boom, 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 boom. That's the way they do. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, that concludes the interview, man. Thanks so much. So much love and respect. It's an honor, brother. Boom.
Yeah, Byron. Thank you, man.
Yo, ladies and gents. Little cheat code. The latest and greatest. Don't hate us because you ain't are not us. Anyways, check it out. My CAMCK is a great tool to make any weapon that you have sitting in your safe into much more formidable tool, right? Multiple points of contact, throw a right-on optic on the top. You got a little light there. You got thumb rests. You can adjust them to fit your. So if you haven't seen them, check out CAAMCK. Take those pistols you have in your safe to the next level. Yo, if you're a private security professional wanting to take your game to the next level, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to check out my personal success package for private security professionals. Check it out, executiveprotectiontrainingday.com. And remember, y'all, hard skills do save lives, but soft skills get you paid. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions.